Hello and welcome to the Melted Warfare September video, where I will be showcasing all the current features and mechanics of the game, mostly focusing on the differences between this and the last one. This one will have commentary because, well, I just feel like it's appropriate for this kind of thing, so let's begin. First off, there's the usual team's faction selection menu, where you can go from 1 to 4 for the wolves and 5 to 8 for the foxes. But this version has something different. Let me just connect this to the computer, and any moment now, there we go. Now, as you can see, these two things have the same selections as the 8 ones on the center of the screen, and you'll notice that my cursor has disappeared. If you could see it before, I'm not sure if you can, but this is the controller support, which this game didn't have up until this version. Started working on it 20 days ago, and I think now it's at a pretty good place. You can do everything with it except the main menu, but the main menu is temporary, so it's nothing permanent just yet. So the way it works is the left circle it represents the left joystick, and it's sticky, so the last thing that I select with the joystick will remain selected. Same goes for the right one. Now, to select either or, I press L1 or the zoom button to select the left joystick active option, and R1 to select the right joystick's selected option. So let's go with the Huey. There we go. You'll immediately see that the sensitivity, it starts quite slow, but if maxed, it doesn't go fast if it goes slowly, but if maxed, it accelerates based on how long I hold it. And it has two steps: initial, and step 2, then step 3. It's about, I think, 1.25 seconds each, but that might change, probably already happens. Anyways, the bind menu works the same way as the faction selection menu. We have on the left thumbstick we have 1 through 5. On the right one we have 6 through 9 and ammo. So let's, for example, purchase a rotator. So let's see how long that takes. That quick. So it's great. Once you get used to it and you know how to use it where everything is, it's pretty easy to use. Something that you already noticed if you've watched the other videos is that the map is completely new again. However, unlike the previous versions, the city map that I had is still in the game, because it will be our search and destroy map, meaning bomb defusal. This right here is the penetration testing range, because the way the penetration worked in previous versions was every time the bullet hit a wall, it will lose 1 point of health, and if you ricocheted, it will lose less of that health, depending on how far it bounced. Like if the quote-unquote ricochet was like 0.1, it would still go through the wall. It would just be misdirected a bit. So the way it works now is as it should, based on how thick the wall is. So let's exemplify. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's on the very thin plates. The material of which these walls are made of does not affect how far the bullet will travel just yet, but perhaps it will. Probably should, you know, but right now it doesn't. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think right now, like, all of these do 5 except for the last one. Let's see. Yep. And then the last one will only do like 3, I think. Yeah. So it's not a perfect system by any means at all, but you know, it is also recently implemented, so can't exactly expect it to be perfect. But you can expect it to get better as the time goes on, just as everything has. Another thing you might have noticed is the dead zone. Like, the crosshair isn't locked to the center of the screen anymore. And this isn't just with the controller. Let me disconnect it real quick. See? I'm moving it with the mouse and it's still, you know, with that thing. This is called the aiming dead zone. As you can see, I cannot move the crosshair outside of that little area on the screen. It's like a little square, but the crosshair has to be inside. But inside that square, it can move around, and the actual camera, it slowly leaps towards that. It's quite nice. Now, I'm not gonna use the controller for much more because, well, let's be honest, it's a first-person shooter. If you use a controller for first-person shooters, well, you're doing something wrong. Let's climb Skyrim our way up this hill real quick. Should be an enemy here, if the AI hasn't killed it. It appears they have. Yes. Either that or it moved by its own volition over there. It got shot or something. Let's get down now. There we go. So, one thing that has changed is in regards to the melee. The knife animation is still the same, and the sword and stuff, but yeah, you just saw that, you know, when the sprinting animation is new again. I mean, every version is probably gonna have its own. It's still not perfect, it's still not where I'd want it to be, but it's better. The sprinting animation is still not where I want it to be. You know, it's still very bad, but it's better than the previous versions for sure. And when you stop sprinting, now instead of the player just suddenly standing up, he rolls. So the game has rolling now, and the idea wasn't to implement rolling, but considering how you can just like tap run with the knife, like, it's not very efficient as rolling because there's that delay before you can equip a weapon or attack. See, spamming 2 but couldn't equip the pistol. Well, actually I don't know what the rotator would be. Guess, I mean, it's not a revolver, is it? I mean, it revolves, but the cylinder comes out, so whatever, it's a thing. So we're getting quite terrible performance right now, which is disappointing, but you know, my computer isn't the best there ever was. It's decent, you know, it can run games I wanted to run, but it can't run this game, which is very, very, very unfortunate. I believe I'm running it at low, I think. Could probably switch it to potato, but you know. Yeah, that's the NPC that's supposed to be up there. So that's the new thing as well, like, there isn't just bots with, you know, names and all. We also have NPCs now which don't have a name, you know. For example, this guy is just Opfor. Ooh, good shot. He's just op 4. He's not like Miarte Esto or whatever, you know, he's not Jason Nakaborna. He's nothing like that. Also, we have hostages. So we have 2 civilians here. One that's crippled, one that's scraped. As you can see, they react to damage much more intensely than regular players do. You know, the wounded animation is much more prominent on it. Like, just see how low his head is. You know, it's much more prominent. That's for suppression effects, because when there's a gunfight, I don't want the hostages to just be standing there. I want them to crouch, I want them to cower. But I don't really wanna implement actual cowering animations just yet, because it might implement some issues, and you know, you've already got enough issues rather. So let's lead them out. The way these hostages work is the same way as Counter-Strike Condition Zero, where they will try to escape by themselves, and the defenders, you know, the foxes in this case, or in the case of Counter-Strike, the terrorists, they will press interact on them to tell them to go back. If they do so, you know, they go back. But if they don't, the hostages will sneak their way to the rescue, which in this case is just the wolf spawn or vehicle spawn. Ah, shit. You may notice that the weapon sounds are new and improved. Jesus Christ. And the AI is also very much improved, as you can see. I mean, it's rare to see a moment where there is no bullet flying around. It's not nearly as finicky as it used to be. Oh, fuck off. Ooh, I hit me. I was lucky. I think the dragon mechanic was already in the last version, but in case it wasn't, the way it works is calm down, heal me, come on. Fuck you too. Okay, now the game is running quite well again. It's weird. Frame rate goes up, down. I'm not sure what's worse. A constantly low frame rate or inconsistently high frame rate. Really not sure, but I do know I want to maximize the average, so for now at least, inconsistent high is better than consistent low. You can see that there's smoke now. You know, it's very rudimentary smoke. You know, it's within the style that I've established for the game. You know, it's not like semi-translucent or anything. It's just semi-translucent. No, it's not translucent or anything. It's just opaque and it fades away. It's kind of like Minecraft smoke, but fancier. I believe there's an enemy sprinting into a wall somewhere around here. Let's see. I could hear him. When we crouch in this game, probably couldn't deduce that from the gameplay footage before, but when you crouch, you can quote-unquote smell enemies. You know, it's that sensing mechanic that every modern game seems to have, but you can see enemies through walls, but here it's very, very weak. You have to be very close to them. You can't have shot recently, they can't have shot recently, or else you only smell gunpowder. You know, they can't be standing still and crouched just as you are. or else you can't see them. There are a lot of limits to it. One thing that I did make for the AI, along with making them smarter, was making them dumber. Now, a key thing for artificial intelligence in video games is a good AI system is one that is smart when it needs to be and stupid when it needs to be. It can't be smart all the time or dumb all the time, and it especially can't be smart at the wrong times or dumb at the wrong times. For example, if you have an AI that can see the player through walls but can't see them when they're standing right in front of them, that's dumb. But when you have AI that can't see the player through walls but can see them in front of them, well, that's much better. Okay, the last living enemy is in here. Let's get rid of them. What are you doing? Please get out of the way so that I can finish. There we go. Another thing that changed is the lowered weapon stance. As you can see, the weapon is always pointing at the direction it should. Oh, right. Almost forgot. I added grenades. Yeah, good time for a grenade, don't you think? So that only took the health away from those enemies, except from the one with the shield, because the one with the shield isn't wearing heavy armor, and when you're not wearing heavy armor, grenades and other types of explosives will ragdoll you. When you are wearing heavy armor, they will only take away your health, and part of that damage will be absorbed by the armor itself. So heavy armor is very perhaps OP, but you know, it's useful. Either way, if a grenade lands on your foot, which I will show. Oh shit! There you go, see? I didn't ragdoll, I just took damage. So let's see if they all get. Nope. So the grenades don't award you for killing. No, they're very, should I say, they're accessories. You know, they're not supposed to be used in combat. The RPG also does not reward you for kills because it's supposed to be used against vehicles. So if you hit a vehicle with it, yes, you will be awarded a kill. Otherwise, no. But as you can see, they have Jim, that hostage. Is fine and okay. I mean, fine. You might have noticed that the rotator has 600 reserve capacity. Let's just say it's not as it should be, okay? It's a bug. You should only get 600 capacity if you have the spray gun equipped, which also uses 9IN. I will not say what 9IN stands for because I don't want to get sued. Let's throw a grenade in there, shall we? Oh shit, it's looking at me! Yeah, that didn't... I'm terrible at this, I need practice. But yeah, third person now, when you're ragdolled, it allows you to look around. Isn't that cool? Now, since we haven't died yet, let's set it off to 0 and take a look. So the screen blinks a bit, then you're ragdolled. Now you might see a vignette. See, start to slowly creep in. That represents the unconscious time left. And you know, you might say, well, if the character's unconscious, why is he moving? Shut up. Just please. So the moment it gets very, very dark is when you're dead, which is quite soon for me. Now you might have noticed that some characters have their unconscious time go down slower than others. I have no idea why that is. I really, really don't. But it will be fixed in the future. For now, that will be all. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Oh, actually, before I go, hang on. Here we are at a familiar location. As you can see, this is the city thing that I was mentioning earlier. I believe it was introduced in version 6. If I'm not mistaken. Version 6 was okay, version 5 was horrible, and version 4 was good. And I think this version is good. Genuinely. The performance needs work, but you know, in terms of gameplay and content and visuals and animations and third-person camera, I think it's better than 7-pen. Fun factor in general. So let's go. Now I'm running on potato, as you can clearly see by the yeah. Let's set stags to stags is the currency, by the way. Steve, you know, $20, 20 stags. Aha, very, very stupid. Let's buy a machine gun. Let's buy stealth bomber. I really like how the stealth bomber sounds. What the fuck? Yeah, you bet. So, here's the IFV. Not really changed since the last version, version 6. Or even version 5, I think. Motherfucker is very loud. You know that? That is something that thing has, and I haven't changed yet, but I very much should, because yeah, it's just too loud. Like, realistically it should be loud, but you know, you might also say, the light's too strong, too intense. But this is daytime, you know. Unity light doesn't work same way as real life light works, so you know. So the thing I want to show with this vehicle here is the... what the fuck? Oh, yes, right. I'm not sure if this was in version 6, but I added real-time reflection probes to everything, which is why metal looks more metallic and the player character looks a tiny bit shinier, you know, than he used to, and why things at night no longer glow. Isn't that wonderful? Yes, it is. Which is why you can see the lighting kind of changing. Oh, with the tier 0, tier 0 is very easy to show this with. Like, look at the side of it becoming green. See? Yeah, nice. Anyways, let's show the new gunner camera, the new passenger seat rotation thing. Oh yes, speaking of rotation, the spine and the leaning, looking down, looking up, all of that is no longer animation based as it used to be. It is now completely code based. It's not animations. So I can now just lean and look down simultaneously without things going wrong. Look at that! Isn't that amazing? And it also looks better in general. Like, whoop, whoop. I can now do the friendly waggle thing. Also, you might notice see the little dot in the center of the crosshair? That represents where the bullets will actually go if I fire the gun. And with a bigger gun, it's a bit harder to maintain it on the center while moving around because it's heavier, you know. For pistol, it's far easier. There's that little bit. As you can see, these guys are following me. Most of them are rangers because I'm a ranger. Yes. The fur quality is now based on quality level. So for example, I'm running on potato, so it looks horrible. It looks very, I don't know, just disgusting in general. It looks horrible, ugly. I want it out of my life. But it's still there if you want it. I will have this as a all of these graphics settings. For example, these windows. I'm not sure if you've seen the last couple of videos. Last video actually, I think. But they have depth normally, but currently they don't. There's a bombing run. Ooh. Oh no. What? I think I think it gave up. I think the target it was going for died or disappeared or something like that. I don't know. Let's get in. Now, as you can see, two of the people that were following me are now inside the vehicle with me. So Nikolai Goldlov is on the passenger seat, and oh no, it's Andrew Khan. Or Andrew Khan. It's supposed to pronounce it. Here you can check the new impact effects. They are indeed very nice. You will also notice that the way the turret moves now is it's no longer lerp, it's now rotating towards, which means the speed of the turret is always constant, which is, you know, a lot more realistic and just better in general. If you get out of a vehicle from the driver's seat, the AI will not get in it to drive it or anything else. Yes. If you leave it from the gunner seat or the passenger seat, then the AI will stay on it, which is, I think it's nice. Here's a civilian. He is not a hostage, but he will still lose money if you kill him. Because this map, as I said, is search and destroy, it's not hostage rescue, so this guy is just scenery. Anyways, I will see you next month. Have a good day.